I know a lot of Taiwanese Americans become Republicans because they believe Republicans are the strongest supporter of Taiwan. Was that part of the reason?
No, the issue of U.S.-Taiwan relations was not really something that animated my perspective on U.S. politics early on. I really felt more strongly about the U.S. domestic policy issues. But I do believe that over time, Republicans have been strong friends of Taiwan. And that's something that I think Taiwan has benefited from over the years.
Some would say that you're closer to Taiwan and, close to Taiwan, far from China, because you're from Taiwan and your parents are from Taiwan, and, your views might be more hawkish towards China. What would you say to that?
Well, first of all, I don't think that that's true. I mean, first and foremost, I see myself as an American, and so my interests are going to be what the American interests are. Obviously,
so that's your identity, right?
My identity is American.
Yourself, right?
Yeah, it's American. Now, obviously, I'm of Taiwanese heritage. I've spent a lot of time in Taiwan as a child growing up. I spent a lot of time there. Have relatives there still. But I've also had the occasion to go to China much more recently. In fact, I'm going to China later this week. And so I can appreciate what China's trying to do. On the other hand, I think what Taiwan has been able to accomplish is impressive as well. And so I think it's fair to say that I have soft spots in my heart for Taiwan, but also increasingly for what's happening in China as well. And so I'm not sure it's fair to say that I am somehow substantially closer to Taiwan, because that's what happens to be my heritage.
Yes.
But first and foremost, I would think of myself as an American.
What kind of role do you think the U.S. should play in the cross-strait relations?
Well, I think the U.S. has reinforced its belief in the One China policy, and I think that continues to be the right position for the U.S. to have. I think that the U.S. also has committed to assisting Taiwan in a number of different ways, and I think the U.S. should abide by that commitment as well. But, my understanding of what's happened is that actually the two sides have managed to develop a number of greater economic ties over the last few years. There's a lot more tourism between Taiwan and China. There are many Chinese that have come to Taiwan to study. And I think those are all good things. I know that some in Taiwan resist that, and there's been some discussion about whether that's healthy or not. But ultimately, more interaction between two people, two parties, can be positive. I mean, it's almost like there's an old saying that if two parties are interacting and they're trading with one another, they're probably not going to go to war with one another. And so I think that that's probably a positive.
But if push comes to shove, what the U.S., do you think the U.S. would stand by Taiwan's side, given of the growing ties with China?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question. I think that the U.S., as a matter of policy, is certainly committed to doing that. I think the U.S. would do everything it could to intervene before it got there. But I certainly think that if, as you say, if push came to shove, I think the U.S. commitment to Taiwan has been clear and will continue to be clear as expressed through various administrations. But the reality is, I think that relationship, the relationship between Taiwan and China has become one of mutual understanding and cooperation over the last couple of years. And so one hopes that can continue. And
Yes,
that the issue won't be as significant anymore in terms of what the U.S. would need to do in that situation.